Let me catch my breath. The amount of times I have to re-record myself saying, "Hi guys, welcome back guys," is crazy, because why can't you just do it once and be good at it? Hi guys, welcome back. We're on episode 28. This is a Chemically Imbalanced Black Girl podcast. If this is your first episode you're ever clicking on, please stay. If you're a long time listener, again, welcome back. This episode is going to be a little congested, y'all, because everybody in my life has just been ping-ponging back and forth this chest cold. And I ran from it as long as I could, and it got my ass. I can only do so much. I can only take so much emergency. My immune system isn't what it used to be. I'm an old girl now. I do have a good episode planned for you guys. But before I start this episode, I wanted to say that I feel like doing something devious with this episode. And let me explain to y'all what I mean. So I have a pretty good following on TikTok. I have, even though my following on Instagram isn't that big, the people that do follow me are really, they really engage. They DM me, they comment and stuff. So it's really nice. But I get the least amount of interactions on YouTube, and I feel like, even though I plan on doing a video podcast very soon, and I know that's going to blow up on YouTube as soon as I start doing that, I think I'm going to release some episodes on YouTube only instead of just all the platforms that I have. So I feel like this one is going to be the first one that I do that with. If you're a longtime listener and you listen to me on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, support your girl and just slide over to that YouTube app and, while you drive, while you clean the house, or even while you're just laying in bed, just give your girl a listen on YouTube, because that's where the money is, y'all. And I'm trying to get some of that. So I am going to be uploading this episode on YouTube first, and then maybe in a couple days I'll make it available on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. I just want my engagement to go up. I know some of y'all rolled the hell out of y'all eyes on that one, because I know this is a very good podcast. And I also listen to podcasts when I'm driving, if I have a long drive, or if I'm at the gym, or if I'm cooking is when I really listen to a lot of my podcasts, because I don't like to touch my phone a lot when I'm cooking, and I don't want to cross-contaminate my shit. So that's when I listen to a lot of podcasts. And just, I don't know, something about the YouTube app being open is just annoying as fuck. But I need y'all to do it for me. If y'all fuck with me, just do it. And also, I was having a conversation with my homeboy Elijah the other day, and we were talking about, he's a gamer on YouTube, and he's we're in the same boat of just trying to get our shit to pop off, and we really want to do the content creator shit full time, right? And we were saying how nobody subscribes on YouTube anymore, or nobody really follows anybody anymore, because if you like it and you watch enough of their videos, the algorithm is just going to recommend it for you. It's going to pop up regardless if you follow them or not. But the whole thing about subscribing and following is that it does so much for the person that you're watching, and it does nothing for you other than, you might get an alert when a new episode drops, But yeah, I just found that so crazy, because 10 years ago when YouTube first came out, everybody was subscribing because it was such a new thing, and it was just well, I don't know about the algorithm of YouTube yet, so I don't know if YouTube's ever gonna show me this nigga again. That is a fat ass wasp. That's crazy. So everybody was just doing everything. They were liking videos, they were subscribing, they were doing all this shit because it was so new. And now that we've had it for goddamn 10 15 years, everybody's just nigga, it'll pop back up. But all right, guys, let's get right into the episode. I have a little, it's not a fun fact, but it's a confession. I have a confession to make, you guys. So recently I went to go see The Little Mermaid, right? Beautiful movie, 10 out of 10. I let a tear. I went with a friend, so I didn't want to I didn't want to sob, because I don't like crying in front of people, but a tear did come out the left side of my eye socket, and I just I made it look like I was putting my hair up in a ponytail, and I just wiped it really fast. I was I'm a G. But it was a beautiful movie. Halle did amazing. Everybody did amazing. I wasn't a fan personally of the casting for Ursula, but we're gonna get into that next. So my confession is, y'all, I just realized this. I have never seen the original Little Mermaid, the cartoon. I have never fucking seen it, because before I went to go watch the live action Little Mermaid, I was watching like spoilers on TikTok and shit like that. I don't know why I do that to myself. I just do. And like, I was starting to realize that I don't know the story of Little Mermaid. I know the songs, obviously, because you just hear them everywhere. But niggas started talking about Vanessa and like Ursula stealing her voice. I was like, when the fuck did that happen? Y'all, the movie I grew up with was Little Mermaid 2, when she had her daughter Melody. That's the Little Mermaid I grew up with. Like, we had it on VHS tape. And for some reason, I just thought that was the Little Mermaid. I know all the teenagers that listen to this are like, a VH, what? What the fuck is that? But I thought like the part, obviously I've seen clips of like the part where Ariel is like on the rock and like she does the whole part of your world. She does that whole shit. I just thought that was a part of the movie I missed, when back in the day when we had VHS, if the end of the movie, if you didn't rewind that shit back, it was like when you put it in again, it was gonna play from the ending credits if you didn't rewind that shit back. So I just thought, a bitch missed that part of the movie where Ariel was doing all that goddamn singing. I was like, well, I don't know. And nobody ever talked about her daughter. So I was like, damn, y'all really didn't see the whole movie, because she definitely had a daughter named Melody. She was trying to go in the ocean and meet her grandpa, but Ariel was like, no, there's somebody out there trying to kill you. I've never seen the original Little Mermaid. So I was so sad, because I was like, damn, I didn't even know who. And then the thing about it, I don't know why I didn't make this connection, y'all. Ursula wasn't even the villain in the Little Mermaid that I grew up with. It was her sister, Morgana. I don't know why, but I've always known who Ursula was, because, she's just who you talk about when you talk about the Little Mermaid. I've never realized that I've never actually sat down and watched that goddamn movie. I didn't know the plot. I didn't know none of that shit. I was like, so it was actually, when I went to recently go see this live action version, that was the first time I've ever seen the Little Mermaid. And I'm slightly embarrassed, but I also love that for me, because my first time watching Little Mermaid was with a black mermaid. So I'm like, gang, but I'm also like, damn, I feel a little stupid, because I never made the connection of there being a Little Mermaid 1 and a Little Mermaid 2, and I just never saw the first one. But okay, now we got to talk about it. Like I said, the movie was perfect. I personally loved all the castings except Ursula. And maybe it's because I'm not a fan of Melissa McCarthy, but it was even down to like her look as Ursula. Like, she looked so disconnected from her tentacles, and I didn't like the hairstyle they gave her. I don't like how she looked like a person, like a regular human being in a squid suit or an octopus suit. Is Ursula a squid or an octopus? That's a great question. I think she's a squid. Anyway, she didn't look like she was a sea creature. I mean, if they would have painted her purple and like gave her, a little bit more like under the sea creature look, instead of just like Melissa McCarthy attached to some tentacles, I would have liked it a lot more. I didn't really care for her acting. As Ursula, I was just like, every time she came up on screen, I was like, this is giving me absolutely nothing. Other than that, I thought everything was perfect. I know Daveed Diggs got a little hate about his forced Caribbean accent. Could they have picked somebody who was genuinely Caribbean? Absolutely. But you know what? I think he did a good enough job for what, he Honestly, if we're being for real, Halle was the best part of the movie. Her and Prince Eric. But I don't know. It was an amazing movie. I don't really have that many critiques. Not that my critiques mean anything, but I just loved it. Really, the only part of the movie I didn't like was Ursula. So I'm trying to think, was there any other part that I was like, No, there wasn't. It was just her. Like, literally, her song, every time she came up on the screen, I was just like, this is not giving what I think she thinks is giving. Also, I was prepared. Like, I went into this movie with the mentality that I was going to hate Awkwafina's role as Scuttle. I'm not gonna lie to y'all, she low-key ate. I know she be getting hate about her black accent and shit like that, and it's well-deserved. It's well-deserved, because that shit's crazy. But she ate as Scuttle. I'm not gonna lie. That little Scuttlebutt song she did, I was in the theater like, oh shit, okay. I thought it was great. So yeah, guys, if you haven't seen the new live-action Little Mermaid, I genuinely recommend it. I would want to watch it again. Like, as the movie was going off, I was like, damn, I could literally sit here and watch it from start to finish again. Like, it was really, really, really good. All right, guys. So the next thing I want to do, I just want to oh my God, I almost died. I just want to do like a little mental health check-in moment because I feel like I haven't talked about my mental health in a long time. And that's the whole reason, I created this podcast. And a lot of people DM me, even from old episodes. Like I said, I don't get as much traction on YouTube as I do all the other platforms this podcast is on. But when I do, it's like once a month, and some random person on YouTube will comment on an old episode and be like, damn, like you worded that so nicely. I've never been able to put that into words. So I'm so sorry, by the way, for all the sniffing y'all hear. I'm dying. I don't know what else to do, y'all. I'm trying my hardest. But so I just wanted to take a second and just give you guys an update on my mental health. I told you guys a while ago when I had like a little bit of identity theft that it kind of like jolted my body back into just not being suicidal, but understanding why I was so heavily suicidal and why I just would rather, die. So these days, I'm definitely, like, my general happiness is definitely up a couple notches because of this podcast. I tell you all the time that this is, like, kind of my verbal diary or it's like my confidence in content form. So now that I can actually tell people that I have a hobby or I have interests, even if it's just one, that makes me, a little bit happier. It just gives me something to do, to be alive for. Now, my day-to-day, mental health mood is kind of like, I think I'm honestly kind of numb, you guys, because I don't know. It's almost like somebody's playing a video game of my life and is in control of my body. Like, I'm just here. There's nothing really I look forward to. There's nothing really that I'm scared of. I'm just kind of like floating. I'm just kind of like going with emotions. And because of that, I guess you could call it jadedness and numbness. It's really starting to affect not my choices in life, but it's starting to affect how much I give a fuck about the choices in my life, if that makes sense. And I want to be like fully transparent with you guys. So I have been tussling back and forth for the past like 4 months of whether I want to go back to being a flight attendant or if I want to join the Air Force, right? And I know obviously the obvious choice is just to go back to being a flight attendant. I love to travel. I travel every chance I get. It's a great job. But mentally, it's not a great job because you never have time to do anything, especially when you first start out as being a flight attendant. You're kind of at the mercy of the airline. Whenever they need you, you gotta fucking go. You can't really call out, and if you do, you don't get in trouble, but you kind of just like, they're like, bitch, you only get like 3 more of these. And it's just a lot. And if I went back to being a flight attendant, I might as well throw this fucking podcast in the trash because I would never have time to do it until it was like 1 or 2 years later. And that makes me sad. I want to do this podcast full time. So I don't want anything. I don't want to do a job that takes me away from this podcast that drastically. You know what I mean? If I, had a regular 9 to 5, I could schedule around when I could, record episodes, edit them, and post them. But being a flight attendant isn't a fucking regular 9 to 5. Your ass is like out the city, out the country, like for days and days, and sometimes a full week. You know what I mean? So I would never have an opportunity to do anything, which is why I started this podcast after I quit. But the military, although I'd rather serve every drug than to serve this country, I mean, the free housing and the money just sounds like it would really be a good opportunity to fund this goddamn podcast. You know what I mean? I wouldn't have to pay rent. I wouldn't have to pay for a lot of things. I would just have to really just buy equipment for this podcast. I could buy a camera. I could set myself up with a little office to record, so I can start doing video podcasts and stuff like that. Like, I feel like the military would give me, obviously I would have to be gone for like 2.5 months to do basic and AIT, but I feel like 2 months versus a year and a half is like a sacrifice this podcast can goddamn take, especially if I come back with a video podcast. You know what I mean? Like, after 2 months, it's like, oh shit, the first video as a first episode back from being in the military would be a video episode. I think that would be great. it's just literally being in the military itself makes my ass itch. And I'm just so, like, I feel like I'm conflicted, but I also really don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? That's where my mental health is at. It's like, this is really like a mind-boggling, like, choice that I have to make. And I just don't make it. Like, I just don't care. I just don't care, because I'm just like, it's all a simulation. We're all going to die. And I know that's not like a great way to think, but it's just like, I have been through so much. I have made so many choices. I've had choices made for me. It's like, I just want to chill. Like I say every day, if there's ever a chance I like stumble upon a rich, sick, senile old man, I'm doing everything in my power to make him fall in love with me, because I'm so tired of being hardworking. I'm so tired of being like this corporate girl. I'm so tired of like, fighting all these battles and shit like that. I was like, I just want to lay down and have somebody take care of me, like pay my bills, like feed me grapes. I just don't want to do none of this shit no more. And it's only because I've been fighting the rat race since I popped out the cooch. You know what I mean? It's been absolutely insufferable. So I think that's where I am mentally. I'm just kind of like in a bubble, just kind of like floating. Y'all know that thing, that thing on the TV where it's like, it like floats all around, and as soon as it like hits a corner, it like turns a different color. Like, I feel like that's what I'm doing in the world right now. I'm just kind of like floating, and once I hit a bump, I'm just like, oh, well, shit, we're pink now, and then I hit another bump, I'm like, oh, shit, blue. I just don't give a fuck about anything. And that's not saying that I'm happy or sad necessarily. I'm just like kind of in the middle of both of them. I'm just so stagnant in my emotions at the moment that it's just hard to give a fuck about anything. It's hard to raise those emotions or lower those emotions for anything, because they're just so stuck in the goddamn middle. So yeah, I just wanted to do like that little mental health checkup. And I want you guys are really good at this, especially like there's like 5 people in particular that are really good with like answering my questions back to me on like Instagram and TikTok. But yeah, everybody. And first of all, let me just get a little rant out real quick. There is over 300 people that listen to this podcast, which is blessed, which is gang, right? That's amazing. But why don't y'all talk to me? That's crazy. I be looking at my stats and stuff on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and I'm like, God damn, we reach people in London. We reach people in fucking all over the globe. None of y'all talk to me. And I am so offended by that, because how could you listen to all these life stories and all my trauma and all these crazy ass things I say and not want to just talk to me? I wish I could like see personally like the account. I wish I could like see the people's names who listen to like the list of 300 people's names who listen. So I could like DM in person and be like, so we got beef or what? Like, why don't you talk to a bitch? Like, what's up? Did you enjoy the episode? What's going on? But no, I'm just joking. I'm not. But I do want you guys to like do like a little mental health check-in with me. I would love to know how you guys are feeling, especially because a lot of you that listen now, in the beginning when I first started this podcast, you would tell me like, that's exactly how I feel, or nobody ever wants to hear me talk about that shit because they think I'm complaining about life, or they think I'm ungrateful. And, I started this podcast 6 months ago. So from 6 months ago till right now, like what has changed, or what the fuck is going on with the wildlife out here? That is a fat ass bird. That's crazy. But yeah, I would really want to know, like, if there has been any emotional changes, if there's been any like mental blocks, anything like that. Because like I said, when I talk about my insecurities and when I talk about my mental health, or lack thereof, sometimes I want to edit it out of the episodes because I feel so insecure. But when I leave it in, there's always like one person that takes that exact clip that I wanted to delete. And it's just like, oh my gosh, bitch, you worded this perfectly, like, same. And that makes me feel so much better. Like, because sometimes I'm not gonna lie, I be like, these people probably think that I am not only crazy, but just like a walking nightmare. And, at this point, who isn't? Who isn't? So, yeah. Okay, guys, I do have an Am I the Asshole for you? But I saw something else that I just could not say. And, of course, I was on Reddit and I was, scrolling through. Oh, my gosh, this girl sent me an Am I the Asshole thing on Instagram, and I'm not gonna spoil it, but I'm gonna save it for the next episode because that shit had me crying weak. Oh my god. And I'm not even gonna mention what it was about because I don't want y'all to see it and be like, oh, this is what Zari is talking about. I'm not even gonna mention it. But if you're listening, the girl who sent me that video, I'm gonna talk about it next episode. That shit had me crying. Okay, so before I do the Am I the Asshole that I picked, I need y'all to hear something that I read on Reddit, and it made me crumble on the inside. I was like, there's no way that I would have been able to function as a human being anymore after this. It's super short, which is why I knew I had to throw it in the episode. But it's like, so y'all know how there's like a section on Reddit, there's like, Am I the Asshole and stuff like that. There's also a section that's called like hot takes and stuff, which I didn't know about. I'm new to Reddit, y'all. So I was just like, oh, what's that? Let me go in there and see what I can find. So this hot take, like I said, it crumbled everything inside of me. So this girl said, she's a 25-year-old female, recently caught my husband, 28 male, cheating on me. And when I say caught, I mean yes, physically caught in the act. We had a few arguments. He didn't deny it. And recently, for the past 2 weeks, we've been trying to settle the house agreement. I don't want to leave. He doesn't want to leave, but both of our names are on the lease. So again, for the past 2 weeks, we've just been coexisting in the same house, not speaking, not looking at each other. We recently got into an argument about who was going to take what furniture in the house, and everything just blew up. I started mentioning the fact that he cheated on me, and I started mentioning the woman that he cheated on me with. I was calling her fat, calling her ugly, calling him less of a man. He turned to me and hold on. He turned to me and looked at me and said, everything about her that makes you feel like you have the upper hand are all the exact reasons I chose her and not you. Yo, when I tell you, when I read that, I physically couldn't breathe. I was like, me personally, y'all, I don't think I would be able to go on with life after that. He said everything about her that makes you feel like you have the upper hand are all the reasons I chose her and not you. My husband said that to me. My husband? My husband? Oh my gosh, my chest hurt just rereading it. Oh my gosh. I would write the note. Y'all, I would pick up the pen and start writing the note because I'm killing myself. Like I'm not, you cannot say stuff like that to me. You cannot say stuff. And she, poor little Sarah, whatever her name is, or, oh, that's not her name, but I'm going to say it's her name. Poor little Sarah, because y'all know how women are. Women, y'all know how we are. When you see, I'm sweating. When you see like your replacement, like we think we're eating with the insults. Like that bitch she got a lazy eye. That bitch slew-footed. Her fucking lips are uneven. Her fucking face is all pimply. Like we think we really eating with insults. Whole time he loved that slew-footed, lazy-eyed, pimple face having bitch. Like he loves everything about her. Like he probably lay on her chest and pop her pimples for her. Like he loves all of that shit that you just named. And you thought you ate. Like you thought, just because your skin clear and your ankles straight and you got everything going on for you that you think that you better than her. Whole time you not. Whole time the exact reason you think you better than her is the exact reason he didn't want your ass. Like I promise y'all, I can never hear those words said to me from my husband. Because either I'm gonna kill you or I'm gonna kill myself. And hopefully I don't do both. That is such a fucked up thing to say to somebody. I could not handle it, y'all. I had just opened the app. Y'all. I was not expecting that. I was like, oh my gosh. And she didn't even write anymore. Like that was the end of it. She didn't give no, like, how sometimes they do like an edit or like a, like a like a update. She didn't say nothing. Like I would have wanted the world to swallow me whole because he looked at her and said that like that wasn't a text, that wasn't a phone call. They were eye to eye when he said that to her. I would have punched him in his fucking face because first of all, you ate. I'm not gonna lie, you ate me up with that. But I don't have the verbal or emotional intelligence to give you a comeback. So now we just gotta fucking fight. Because why would you say that to me? I am your wife. Nigga, you cheated on me. Like, and you just about to, that's exactly like when you having an argument with your man about a girl and you say her name wrong and he corrects you on how to say her name. I will fucking stab you. What you mean it's Mariah and not Maria? Bitch, you and her about to die. Like, that's crazy to me. That is so crazy to me, y'all. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. I I genuinely could not handle that. What's her name? Melissa Sarah? That's a strong woman, because I would have died on the inside. Like, I would have melted like the Wicked Witch of the East. I would have just crumbled inside myself. You cannot say stuff like that to me. Okay, so I have the actual Am I the Asshole? And I picked this one because y'all just, I'll explain after. So this one says, am I the asshole for mansplaining to my girlfriend? He says, I personally don't think this is an issue of mansplaining, but I want to present her perspective of the issue fairly and objectively. I don't want to make this story seem one-sided like some of the other stories I've seen on here. I, a 23-year-old male, am someone who loves fun facts. I love telling my friends and family fun facts and seeing their faces light up with interest, as mine did when I first heard the fact. I've been getting the feeling lately that my 23-year-old girlfriend isn't really treating me with respect. When she talks to me, she kind of acts withdrawn and dismissive. And I sometimes feel like she responds to me as though she's a boss speaking to a subordinate. Whenever I tell her things, she may be listening or she may not be. Yesterday, I told her a fun fact about how styrofoam containers aren't actually made from styrofoam. Instead, they're made from a material called polystyrene. And she didn't even blink. She just said, okay. Today, we're over a friend's house for dinner, and she let us take some pasta home for leftovers. And I heard my girlfriend say, hand me that styrofoam container, please. I got a little annoyed since this was proof that she doesn't give a shit about things I say. So in an annoyed voice, I said, it's made of polystyrene, not styrofoam, but I guess it doesn't matter what I say since you wouldn't listen anyway. After that, all hell broke loose, basically, and now my girlfriend is refusing to talk to me because I was rude. Even though I was literally just pointing out that she's being disrespectful to me and not caring about the things that I say and making me feel unimportant. Am I the asshole? So this guy is a bitch. And before y'all are like, whoa, hear me out. But not only is he a bitch, but he's also childish. And he's annoying as fuck. So in my opinion, people who love... Okay, let me start over. I have to adapt it. I have to take it as if this was happening to me so I could give my honest opinion, okay? So the first thing that I saw that pissed me off was I love to give people fun facts. Now, fun facts are things that nobody asks for, and that it makes people feel like they have opportunities to teach somebody something that they think other people don't know. That right there is fucking annoying, because if I didn't ask you to tell me this information, that means I don't want to fucking know it, or I already know it. So for you to think that you're teaching me lessons and to get mad because I don't receive the lesson in the way you want, like, bitch, I don't like, you can tell that this one triggered me. I don't like when people try to teach me shit. Like, I don't like, y'all already know, if you've been listening, y'all already know when I don't like, why am I stuttering? I don't know what's happening right now, y'all. I don't like when people talk to me like I'm stupid and try to teach me something in every conversation, because I don't know what I would give off to make you think that I didn't know that. And even if I didn't know that, I didn't fucking ask you. I don't want a fun fact. And this nigga was saying like he does it every goddamn day, which sounds annoying as fuck. But also, what other response could you give to somebody that says, hey, you actually know, styrofoam containers aren't actually made out of styrofoam. They're made from this thing called polystyrene. What other response would you want besides, okay? Like, nigga, I don't care. Like, what's polystyrene? Like, I've never heard. We're not about to do a deep dive into this conversation because I don't give a fuck about either two of those words that you just tried to teach me. And another thing, after you told me that fact, would you have wanted me to address anything that styrofoam as polystyrene? Because he said, I heard my girlfriend say, could you hand me that styrofoam container, please? And I got a little annoyed since this was proof that she doesn't give a shit about things that I say. So, like, if you told me, that's like if somebody told me that spiders are actually in the family of arachnids, and I was just like, oh my God, look at that spider. And then that same person immediately goes, well, they're actually called arachnids, but I guess you don't give a fuck about anything I say. What? Nigga, what? Like, I'm not about to call it this professional ass name when also you know that shit is called a styrofoam container. Like, I don't give a fuck what it's made out of. Like, I that's so crazy. And his girlfriend is validated. He sounds annoying as fuck. And it also sounds like she wore the pants in the relationship, because why are you fucking whining? You don't listen to anything I say when I try to tell you these fun facts. Because I don't give a fuck about the fun facts, Jeremy. That's what you're not realizing, David. I don't give a fuck about none of these fun facts. They're not fun. They're just facts that you maybe just looked up 10 minutes ago, and now you're trying to project it onto me like I don't know shit. I don't care. I don't care. I can bet my right nipple, if he stopped telling her fun facts for 2 months straight, I promise you the relationship will probably get so much better. He is probably eating that girl from the inside out with these dumbass fun facts that she's like, this motherfucker is insufferable. Like, I don't care. And then he dug it deeper and said, I like to tell my friends and my family. That means this nigga is just annoying everybody with these dumbass little facts. Like, I'm just trying to get into the mind of the girlfriend. Like, if he is like a really smart guy, I can imagine when they first started dating, those fun facts were probably the sexiest thing on this earth. She was probably like, oh my God, he knows so much. He loves to teach. He loves to enlighten my brain. Oh my gosh, he just drops these little random facts. He just knows everything about everything. And I've never met a man so like aware of every little subject about life. He just, oh my God, I feel so smart when I'm around him. A year later, she's like, shut up. Michael, please, shut up, please. Terrence, please. I don't care what the plastic thing on the end of a shoestring is called. I really don't care. I really, truly don't care. Like, he sounds awful. And I personally think, yes, he is the asshole. Because there was no reason for you to snap at her talking about something, well, it's actually called this, that, and I guess you don't listen to anything that I fucking say. And then he did that in front of the friend. Like, the friend that they were eating at, the friend's house that they were eating at, he did that in front of everybody. And one thing about me, I hate any type of public display of emotions. I would never want to get proposed to in public. I would punch you I will uppercut the fuck out you so you can stand up. Like, get the fuck up. Because why would you do this? You don't know anything about me. I don't like to argue in front of people. Y'all already know I don't like to cry in front of people. I don't like to feel any type of emotion in front of people. So you're going to start an argument with me while we're at our friend's house for dinner. I'm going to fuck you up when we get in that car. Because this could have waited till we got in this bitch. But now, I'm going to just be punching you while you driving down the street. Because what the fuck was that? And now the friend feeling all awkward and shit, just standing at the dinner table, watching us argue like a fucking bunch of idiots. Like we don't have no decorum, or we couldn't wait to have this conversation when we got back to the house. I don't like shit like that. I don't like shit like that. So yes, he was the asshole because his girlfriend is just sick and tired of hearing little stupid ass random facts that he think is hilarious and fun and interesting. And obviously don't nobody give a fuck. And you teach him at the wrong moments. And then you expect people to take those fun facts that you say and just this one really did trigger me. I didn't expect for it to. When I first read it, I was like, I'm feeling something. It was triggered. So that was the fun fact. Not the fun fact. Why do I keep saying that? You can tell what podcast I just got done watching. But that was the Am I the Asshole for today. I might post that clip on TikTok because the last episode, that Am I the Asshole was so obvious. This one is not so obvious. I really want to hear somebody's opinion if they disagree with him being the asshole, because I feel like he really was. Because, like, nigga, relax. I want to do a little rant, and I'll probably close out the episode with this rant. But do y'all remember, like, a lot of episodes ago, like maybe episode 10, 11? I asked you guys, like, what life do you daydream? What life do you live when you daydream? And how is that life different from the life you live now, right? And you guys gave me some beautiful answers. What I want to know, if there's anybody like me who daydreams a shit ton. I even lucid dream. I have very vivid dreams when I go to sleep. And also, I'm just a very, very large daydreamer. Can anybody else not see their own face when they daydream? I know a lot of people that daydream when they listen to music. I know a lot of people who daydream just for, regular shits and gigs. And lately, I've been so hyper aware in my daydreams that I realize that I don't think my brain knows what my face looks like. Because even when I'm regular dreaming, when I'm asleep, I can like conjure up all these different type of faces that I think I've never seen before, or even use faces that I have seen before, maybe it's celebrities or people in my life. And every time it's like me in the dream, my face is just a big brown blur. Like I can never see the details of my face. And it's because I really don't think I know what I look like. And that's weird as fuck. I wanted to know if anybody else like had that problem. If you are a really big daydreamer or lucid dreamer, the next time you do one, like try to see your face and tell me if you can see it. Because I don't know if that's like a person thing or if that's just a me thing. And that got me thinking, like, if I was ever like given the opportunity, like, you know, those things where they have you, it's like for like $2 million, $3 million. And they're like, you got to sit in this white room with no internet, no TV, no nothing. It's just like some books, some food, and like a mattress. And you got to sit in there for like 2 months to get the money. First of all, I would jump at that goddamn opportunity. It sounds like a dream to me. I'd be like, double that shit. I'll stay in here for 6 months. But I also think that I would come out genuinely forgetting what I look like, because I don't think I know what I look like now. And also every time I went to a wedding yesterday, and I tried to like put on eyelashes. Now, when I got the eyelashes, I envisioned myself looking a certain way in these eyelashes. As soon as I put them bitches on, I was like, oh, I look like I'm transitioning into a man. I was like, I'd look disgusting. So, I just don't know. I just don't think I know what I would look like. And if I was locked up and not looking at myself for 3 or 6 months, I'm pretty sure my brain would just create a face that wasn't my actual face. And when I got out and I looked in the mirror for the first time, I think I would like break down crying, because I'm like, this is not the bitch that I thought was like on my face. Like, this is not the person I thought I was. And I don't know what that is about. Like every time, and I can't even like, so I'm in my mid-20s, y'all. I've never dyed my hair or nothing like that. I buzzed my hair a while ago, but it grew the fuck back. I've never dyed my hair or anything, and it's because I don't know how to envision myself with anything different than what I was born with. I don't wear makeup. I don't do anything to my face, because I don't know. I don't want to do something drastic and then I look crazy, because I don't know what I look like already. So I definitely won't know what I look like with like red, orange, brown, green, burgundy hair. You know what I mean? So I've just never done anything to my face. And I'm about to change that. I'm about to because I've been wanting to dye my hair light brown for a really long time. And I'm just like, I'm going to look not only washed out, because I am of lighter brown, complexion, not light skinned, just a lighter brown. So relax on me. And I just thought that if I dyed my hair brown, then it would wash my skin tone out. I would look like I don't know what I would look like, just like an alien or something. But yeah, do y'all have that problem when y'all daydream? Like y'all just can't see yourselves? Or like, do y'all ever have that like existential crisis moment where you're just like, I don't think I really know what I look like. And every time I look in the mirror, it's always a surprise, because I'm just like, like, damn, you don't look anything like you thought you looked. And I don't know why. Y'all already know I'm insecure. So it's not like, it's not like I'm saying I get ugly and uglier every time I look at myself. It's just that I think in my head, I want myself to look better than what I do. And then every time I look at myself, it's just like, oh no, that's what you look like. I don't know how to describe what I mean, but hopefully I'm not the only one that feels like that. That's what this whole podcast is me hoping I'm not the only one that feels this way. And then there's just like 300 of y'all is like, no, bitch, we feel exactly the same way. So I really need y'all to tell me that, because it's been on my mind for like a couple weeks now. I think I had a dream that I remember. And whenever I remember my dreams, I always wake up and I write them down in my notes on my phone. But I had a dream where I was like obviously in the dream and I could see everybody's face so perfectly except mine. And I knew it was me because obviously like I'm the one feeling all the emotions. Like I'm the obvious dreamer in the dream. I just can't see my fucking face. And I thought that was weird. Okay, guys, that's the end of the episode. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We are on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and your girl's on TikTok. Let's make this podcast the podcast. Okay, y'all? I want to hear you talk about it in the streets. 5 stars if you're feeling frisky, and 5 stars even if you're not. All the beautiful music in this episode is by the amazing Zoe Marie. Zoe's music can be found on all streaming platforms, so please go listen and love it just like I do. And I'll see you guys in the next episode.